Okay, I'm gonna start right in with the first tip, which is fake 4K. The key here is to set your sequence settings to 4K and also export in 4K, even if your footage isn't. It first of all preserves more details when you export and upload your videos. And if you add any titles or graphics, those will also be in 4K, even if your footage is only in 1080p. And if you post the video online afterwards, then viewers have the option to set the quality to 4K, so you kind of make people think that the video is in 4K, even if the footage isn't. So what you want to do is you go up here to sequence and sequence settings and set it to 3840 by 2160, and now your sequence is in 4K. And now you obviously have to scale up your 1080p clip to 200%, and that's how it works. And in addition to exporting your video in 4K, you can try editing in 18:9 instead of 16:9. Now what I mean by that is changing the aspect ratio inside your editing program from 3840 by 2160 to 3840 by 1920. But why would you do that? Well, if you look at phones, tablets, laptops, computer monitors, some of them are already changing to aspect ratio of 18:9. So you're essentially future-proofing your content, so it's not going to be cropped off on modern displays. On my OnePlus Nord, for example, I can watch YouTube videos in 16:9, either with black bars on the sides or zoomed in, but then the top and bottom parts of the clip are cut off. But if I watch a 2:1 video or an 18:9 video, then it fills the screen perfectly and nothing is cut off because you already exported it like that. And you're also able to move that clip around from top to bottom if you messed up your shot a bit. Alright, here in your sequence settings you wanna change the aspect ratio from a normal 4K, which is 3840 by 2160, to 3840 by 1920. Then you select OK. And now you have your clip, which is a little bit cut off on top of the bottom, but that's the result of an 18:9 image. And now you're also able to move the clip around from top to bottom if you messed up your shot a bit. To preserve all the details and the quality of your project, you want to adjust the bitrate of the video before exporting it. If you go online and search for YouTube bitrate, there already is a chart with all the different mbit per second depending on your video quality. Personally, I either upload in 1080p or 4K, both in 25 FPS, and according to the chart I should either export in 8 mbit for Full HD or in 35 to 45 mbit for 4K uploads. And usually Premiere sets the bitrate to a higher number already, or most of the time maintains the bitrate of your imported footage. But keep in mind, before exporting, the higher the bitrate, the bigger the file will get. And to change it in Premiere here, you're gonna wanna go to Export, then go to Video and Show More, and then scroll down a bit, and here you have the target bitrate. For me it's set to 42.8 because it's a 4K sequence. But according to the chart, you would be good to go if you set it to 35 or anything between 35 and 45. And as you can see right here, the megabyte change as I adjust the bitrate. If you have experienced choppy playback or anything similar in Premiere Pro, then the next tip is something for you. Instead of just using the software for rendering your footage in Premiere Pro, you want to change it to GPU acceleration so that the Premiere Pro is also making some use out of your graphics card in your computer, because why not use it when it's already there? And for that you want to go to Files, Project Settings and General, and right here on the top you already have the rendering option, and for me it's already set to GPU acceleration. But if yours just set to software and it looks like this with the red bars on top, then you want to change the setting. Let's go back again to general. Then you want to accept GPU acceleration, hit OK, and then as you can see the red bars have changed to yellow bars, which indicates that it's already easier for Premiere Pro to render your footage in the timeline. And additionally, you can also set the playback quality here from full to half or even a quarter, so that it's easier for the program to play back all the clips. To help maintain optimal performance of Premiere Pro, you want to delete old or unused media cache files in Premiere Pro from time to time. These media cache files are temporary files Premiere Pro uses for better performance. And each time you import a new video or audio file into a project, media cache files are being created, which is indicated by a progress bar in the bottom right corner. And to manage the media cache settings, you want to go to Edit, Preferences and Media Cache. Then you can manually delete media cache files up here, or decide if Premiere Pro should automatically delete media cache files after a certain time or after a given size limit is reached. This will not delete anything from the project. Premiere Pro will just need to regenerate cache files for a given project on a launch. But if you're having issues with Premiere Pro's performance, then deleting the media cache files from time to time will potentially have a huge outcome. And sometimes this procedure alone can be a fix to your problems. If you've already color graded your footage and stacked up a bunch of effects and presets, and you want to disable all these effects at once to compare the before and after footage, you don't have to disable them all manually, but you can do it with the Global Effects Mute button. Just press this little plus icon on your button editor, and then they're gonna pop up a bunch of icons which you can all choose from, but we are gonna go with the effects icon, and you're gonna drag and drop it right here to the other buttons and hit OK. And then you have your Global Effects Mute button right here. And for example, if I have a color grade on here, let's say something like that, and then I press the Global Effects Mute button, all the effects on the clips are gonna be disabled. And if your playback was laggy before, now it should be a smooth playback. If you want to spice up your content and just make your text animations a bit more realistic, then you definitely have motion blur on your text animations. Here's a simple before and after, without and with motion blur enabled. And now tell me which one of these looks more natural to you. Alright, to get this effect, you wanna search in the effects tab for an effect called Transform, and you want to drag and drop it onto your text layer. Then animate your text to your liking, either let it rotate, make it bigger, make it smaller, or just like me, let it come in from one side, either from left or right. Then the next step is the most important one, so you're gonna pay attention here. Right on the bottom it says use composition shutter angle, which you want to disable to set your own shutter angle. You can play around with what looks best, but my personal preference is around 180 degrees. And just with this simple step, your text animation looks already so much better. This next effect might help you if you have something consistent on your timeline, like an adjustment layer with a color grade or background music which you don't want to be cut. You might have already seen these little locks on the side here on every little layer. And if you click one of these locks, the layer is locked, obviously, and it can't be affected by any of your actions you do. So for example, if you cut the clip right here and cut it again, let's say, and you want this to be removed, then the adjustment layer isn't affected at all. And if you want to disable it again, you can hit the lock again, and now the adjustment layer is affected again, as you can see. And this is quite helpful if you have something on a timeline you don't want to be affected by your actions. So you can just lock the layers you don't need right now, then do your editing, unlock it again, and you're good to go. Alright, that's it for Premiere Pro tips. If you enjoyed this video, then you may consider watching the video on screen right here, where I show you 7 cheap but practical gadgets you can use for your YouTube videos. Consider liking and subscribing.